Sometimes it makes sense to sign a broker of record letter, and sometimes it does not quite yet make sense to sign a broker of record letter. I think like the first thing is to understand, what does it mean when you sign a broker of record letter as an employer and turning over your employer sponsored plan. So with the context of benefits, right? Let's just say like you're going through a renewal, you got a really high renewal, you don't feel like your broker communicated well with you, there's some friction there, you can't get a hold of them right, and you're just like, hey, I'm going to go out and shop. And you're talking to multiple brokers. Well, really, step one, you want to pick a broker first. Why? Because at the end of the day, the insurance carriers, right? Aetna is Aetna, United Healthcare is United Healthcare, Kaiser is Kaiser. And hopefully that broker, you'll want to ask if they're appointed or willing to get appointed with those folks in the proper state that you're in, if they're not. But the reason why you would sign a broker record is simply because you want to authorize a broker to work directly with the carrier on your behalf. So they'll have access now to the information as far as your billing, right? The people who are enrolled in the plans, they'll have authorization to help you put people on and off the plans. They can act on your behalf as far as, supporting you in, how to interact with the carriers, negotiating for rates, pushing back and saying, hey, we're not going to accept this premium. We want this plan. They want that plan, right? And it's really beneficial. Now, the hard part is if you have the incumbent broker who's, just resting on their laurels, you're paying them a percentage of commissions, and it could be anywhere from, I don't know, like 3 to 10%. It kind of depends on their deal, right? In the plan. Could be a little bit more if there's certain lines. But ultimately, they're already getting paid from the carrier as the broker, right? And they're getting paid to service your account. So that includes things like giving you your renewal. So that's why you'll find out if you call up, carriers, sometimes they may say, hey, you're going to have to talk to your broker, especially if you have something like a level funded plan or a self-funded plan that has more complex moving parts. They don't have the capacity or the bandwidth as the carriers to have those conversations, and they'd rather outsource that. That's why they pay the brokers a commission. And whether you know it or not, these people that are servicing you are not servicing you, that you are paying for it in some way, shape, or form. So if you ask a new broker to come in and put together all these different spreadsheets, and I've done that in the past. You might spend, sometimes 20, 30 hours with somebody. And then when you go back and say like, okay, these things look great, I'm going to go take these back to my current broker and see what they think. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, I can do that too. Well, what ends up being the challenge there is, the person who, crafted these new ideas, that took the time to check the market, benchmark different options, look at all the different plan designs. They were doing the job that your broker really should have done in the first place. So as you see some of these brokers and their firms get bigger and bigger because they're doing better and better for their clients, you'll see them ask you sometimes for a broker record pretty quickly in the conversation, or at least for a consulting fee. Why? Well, because they have to allocate internal resources in order to, get you those plan designs. I mean, if you've talked to carriers before, you can be on the phone sometimes for hours, and somebody's got to, somebody from some team has to, chat with these folks, and then take the data, crunch the numbers, look at your employee demographics, look at the affordability, look at the compliance, and give you some of the best in class advice. So when somebody does all that work, 20, 30 hours they invest into it, and then you go ahead and you take that like same information to your current broker who didn't do anything for you, that might leave a bad taste in their mouth, right? And look, sometimes when a broker's a little bit newer, they'll be more amicable and want to see what they can do to earn the business. However, really as a company, the best thing to do is to decide like, who's willing to put in the sweat equity and work for you, right? So when you do sign those broker or record letters, that's what you're authorizing them to do. You're telling the carrier, hey, I want this person, this broker to represent our firm. They can negotiate directly with you. And some of the benefits of that are, let's just say you're not happy with your broker and you're interviewing somebody, you like them, you had a good first meeting, and you sign the broker or record letter. Basically, you can say, I don't know, as of the first of next month, right? In that letter, it'd be on your own company letterhead. We authorize this person to negotiate the terms on our behalf, service our account, look at the renewal information, have access to our employee census data, all the things that would allow them to actually, if they're doing all that work and they're not the broker of record, right? Imagine the work they can do if they actually had access to that information, right? Like, what are the real, challenges? Not just you playing telephone and kind of giving them info, but like, what are the real challenges that you have? Is it because you have a bad pharmacy policy right now that doesn't serve the employees? Is it too rich, and the employees are just doing all their pharmaceuticals straight through the plan, and not mindfully thinking through the right cost share, right? Like, those are the types of insights and information you can get as the broker. But unless you have the broker of record, nobody can call the insurance companies and really get the right information on your current account. So you would mostly want to sign a broker of record if you want the person you're talking to, one, handle your renewal information. Two, you want to authorize them to service your account or their service teams. And then three, allow them to negotiate on your behalf because they have your best interest at heart. So that broker or record letter is not to be taken lightly. There's a lot of responsibility to it. And if you do get asked for it, it's important to know why, but understand that, either with the brokers, if you really want them to do a good job, they have to invest a lot of time. And if your current broker is not investing the time, then, I would definitely consider looking at the broker or record letter and possibly signing it so that you can quickly start getting the service you deserve.